Hey everyone, and welcome back to Hillview Gardens. Now, we're starting off this episode with our largest water slide that's going to be in the park, a raft slide. Now, originally, I had it all planned up in my head. I was going to make a funnel raft slide. I was so excited. It was going to be super duper cool to have just a gigantic funnel in this park peeking through the trees. However, there's a little problem with this game. You see, the developers were very sadly rushed into completing this game, which leads to no water slide physics right now. They are working on it. We theorize that we're going to get them in the December update. However, they never have outright said that we will get them in the December update. So we don't exactly know yet. However, I'm hoping, man. Like, I really want proper slide physics now that I've actually worked with them. Now, I'm still gonna give Frontier credit. They have made probably the best water slide simulation game or water park simulation game out there right now. The only real competitor there is Roller Coaster Tycoon 3, which Frontier also worked on. And so I do believe that we just have to trust Frontier, give them a little bit more time than the publishers allowed them to have. Anyways, this is probably like my fourth or fifth attempt to make this slide, and it finally comes out good. I switch out the funnel for the Venus flytrap element because the path on the Venus flytrap element that the raft follows is a lot taller, so the raft is allowed to lose a lot more speed and actually become like realistic. So I go ahead and put in this Venus flytrap element. It looks really nice. I'm still happy with how it came out. I just do wish that we had the funnel in there. Now we are working on something pretty cool, which I saw in a Geekism video. I guess really like copying him. We are working on a custom raft return. So at these parks, these rafts hold 4 to 8 people, I think. Maybe it's 4 to 6. They hold a lot of people. And while other raft slides, like the ones where only you sit in or you and one other person sit in, they would probably have you bring them up the tower. However, these rafts, are so big and heavy that chances are they would have a conveyor belt that takes them all the way back up. And thank God Geekism thought of this, because if I didn't see that, I would have not put this in the park. However, I do think that it adds a nice sense of realism, and I'm also just straight out copying him. I use the exact same pieces because he just finds the perfect pieces for these things. However, I mean, that's the reason we put out these videos, to inspire other people and show them new techniques to get better at the game and expand the community. So I'm sure he doesn't mind very much. I forgot to record it, which really sucks. But most of it is just art shapes, and those like rolly things I used just wooden beams. The turn pieces look awful. In real life, they would be probably the rolly things because conveyor belts can't turn at that degree. But you can't really get it as compact how they would be in real life and still have it look nice. So we're now putting in the part that connects to the platform that people will actually like grab the raft from and take it to the slide. I do think that in the end it looks pretty dang nice. I think that it looks pretty realistic. I actually use a cool technique for the supports. It's the same technique that I use for the actual conveyor itself. You use roof pieces to like get it all lined up, and then for the supports I just use like flat roof pieces, and I can get them like in the exact same spot every single time if I need to like add something to them, and I can also just make the spacing even. At first, I select the support pieces and then just like select the footers and drag it down. However, I get the genius idea to use these roof pieces again. So everything is like perfectly in line except for that last one. The supports are made up out of just the flume support pieces and some more shapes at the top to actually connect it to the conveyor belt. Now, putting the rafts on the conveyor belt so that it actually looks like they're being used. In Geekism's video, he used a really cool technique of connecting these rafts to a roller coaster underground so that they actually move up the conveyor. And while that is possible, just not in this park. There's nothing under this. There's nothing under the conveyor belt to hide the coaster, and I don't think I'd want to dig 100 feet into the ground just for a conveyor belt. Little cut here, and also all the paths are in. The paths took me a ridiculously long time to put in. So I ended up just scrapping the recording because I don't want this video to be 40 minutes long and have 50% of it being only placing paths. Anyways, we are building the next 3 slides for the park, the Geronimo slides, which are just your normal water slides. Most of the time when you search up water slide, you'll find like 3 slides that kind of, well, the 2 on the outside curve around into the structure and then out, but the one in the middle usually goes straight down. That's what I wanted to do with this one, but I made the pool too close to the platform, so I just went ahead and had it curl around again. I talked about this in the live portion. However, the orange and green slides, which will make sense in a little bit, have these glass pieces that make it see-through. So like when you're walking up the platform, you're actually able to see the people fly by, which is pretty cool. These are pretty much my first actual water slides, like just general, what do you think of when you say water slides? And I don't think they turned out pretty bad. I think they're pretty realistic for what they're based off of. And actually, these slides and the raft slide have their own pools that people won't swim in, and the way you do it is so easy. You just simply close the pool but keep the slides open. Because the slides are open, people can ride them and fly into the pool, but when they get in the pool, they're like, whoa, the pool's closed, I have to get out. So, and people won't swim in it because the pool is closed. So that is how you make slide only pools. I do wish there was like a setting to make it slide only, but we don't have that, and this works fine. However, occasionally the pools will open themselves, so just look out for that. Also, I think I redo the paths again off camera, so yeah. Now working on the paths around this pool area. It's kind of weird because at first I went through the pool and made it a path type instead of infinity, which is how I make all my pools, but it messed up the leveling, so I just put the paths around the pool, which messed up the like rounding tool and all that. It's just a mess. Also, this whole area is a mess. I don't make anything other than the slide complex. Everything to the left of the slide complex is unfinished. This whole plaza is unfinished. I think I'm gonna do another splash pad here of some kind. It's all unfinished. I'll probably work on it in a couple episodes. This is gonna be the last water park episode for a little while because I want to work on coasters. I haven't had much work with them. I made 2 in previous parks, and I'm making 1 for a secondary project. Anyways, I'm getting ready to open the area to the guests so I can have a little bit more motivation to finish the area, copying over the supports from the Rainbow Racers. As you can see, I do open the Rainbow Racers to guests, and it's actually pretty cool to see. all the people writing down, even though there's a jittering effect, which is really annoying. I have a lot of trouble copying over the supports. I don't know why. It was just really difficult for me. Um, but yeah, using this method of building one piece of wall and then just copying it absolutely everywhere and deleting the walls after. I also copy the wall onto the lower platform where the Geronimo slides are. Here, I am contemplating deleting the paths all over and redoing them to make them a little bit more realistic, because a tower like this full of slides will probably have it wrapping around the tower instead of just going back and forth. And I eventually do it. This is my first attempt, however, I don't have the full length of the building be stairs. I have like a little break platform at the middle, which I'm working on now, which actually creates probably one of the coolest views of the park. You can literally, while walking up to the raft flume, look into the Venus flytrap element and just look at the raft going back and forth. It's probably my favorite view in the entire park so far. Just being able to look at it from that elevated point of view. It's also really cool to look at it down at ground level, but just nowhere near as cool. We finally finish it. It doesn't take too long now that I know how to make these custom queue paths. Making a roof for this building, because chances are there's going to be a lot of people waiting in line. There's got to be some sort of roof covering them. Also, the electronics of the raft ride would probably be up there. Finishing up the time lapse by adding a roof to the lower platform. It probably doesn't need it because it'll be shielded by the taller one, but I add it anyways. The same dark green color that I used for the top one, and the same technique of just using the flume supports and the aquatic pieces. And finishing off the time lapse, we are going to be moving over the beams on these supports to make way for the coasters, so you're not just sliding into pieces of metal, and fixing up a few queue problems. Once again, I did not make this realistic with the flumes intersecting with the supports. I really do gotta search up how these are actually done and still keep the structure structurally sound. I don't think this building or structure has any danger of falling down, but it's really janky, except for that orange one in the middle. That one's fine. Small cut forward, putting in foliage, and I do color the slide. There's a lot of cuts, there's a lot of stuff I do off camera in this episode, and I am sorry about that, but yeah. Next, we finish off the time lapse by painting the terrain to make the bushes actually look like they're a part of the ground, and I replace those staff paths with natural paths off camera. Anyways, that is the end of the time lapse. I will see you all in the live portion. Welcome everyone back to the Hillview Gardens Christmas celebration. Continuing to work on the water park. This is probably going to be the last episode for a little while on the water park. We worked on this huge slide complex with 4 different slides. So we're going to be checking it out here today. So something that I added in between the time lapses, we got supports on the platforms. They're kind of a bit janky. I might go back and move a few of them or get rid of them. But yeah, and then also we added colors to the slides. That might have been in the last time lapse, I'm not completely sure. We also added railings to the paths, and thank God do we have the option to customize these with color, because the colors that they had were pretty bad. But yeah. I also added foundations to the bottom and the water pumps and water filters, along with some more solar panels. So starting off with our first water slides, we have the Geronimo Falls water slides. We got 3 different ones. We have Geronimo slide green, Geronimo slide orange, and Geronimo slide blue. Start with the orange. None of these are anything really too special. They're just, small water slides. The orange and the green ones are actually special because they have this clear section right next to the paths. I thought that looks pretty cool. I might add one to the blue slide, depending on where the next paths go. And then heading up to Shasta Falls, named after Mount Shasta here in California. This is probably my favorite view of this tower. You just get to look into the Piranha, or the Venus flytrap, sorry. And then we also have this completely custom raft return that we made in the time lapse. This took quite a long while. I believe it's a couple thousand pieces, 2,600 pieces just for the raft return. Yeah, it was actually pretty easy to make because you just have to make one piece and then copy it over. So yeah, it really wasn't too difficult. The POVs for the raft slides are awful, so we are just going to be using orbit mode. So it's not going to be the best viewing experience, but like I said, the actual POVs are awful. But yeah, that's everything we got. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you on the next one.